On this episode of Cigars and Sea Stories, Bennett and Mike are talking about stand and post. And I just say this because I was looking at that Terminal Lance video the other day. You know what I'm talking about with the little figures? You know, and they're coming off post and they're like, man. You know, it's like living a dream, have a dog. Oh, dude. Yeah. Everything in that entire thing, like that little film strip that I've done. Oh, hands down. Yeah. Schwacked it in the corner, 240, throwing a piss bottle. You're like,
yeah, man. Hells to the yes.
Yeah, when in doubt, kill the goat herder. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, if the Bedouins in Egypt knew how many reticles they've had on them and their goats through the sights of a freaking whatever.
Oh, God, yeah.
If they had any idea. Oh, God.
Yeah, stand and post. So
got to do something to freaking pass the time. You can't stand there and do Kegel exercises all day. You know? I mean, shit.
You're doing fucking Kegels. I did Kegels on post. I'm laughing because I did Kegels.
Every motherfucker has done Kegels on post. And if they did, even if they didn't know what a Kegel exercise is, they've done it. They've squeezed their ass cheeks. They've done push-ups. They've done air squats.
Dude, I walked in
jerked off more times than they can count.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, God. I mean, you know, so people just don't get it. Like, and see, here's the thing that you're not allowed to bring reading material because you're standing a post.
Right.
You're supposed to be watching, you know, your left and right. The problem is that for fuck's sake, man, you can't really, for 8 hours straight? No, man. You want to die by the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
You really do.
Well, and if you're, I like to think I was a pretty good SOG because I'd hook it up. You know what I'm saying? And bring coffee up to posts and stuff.
Yeah. Most assholes don't do that shit, though.
Yeah. See, like,
they're sitting back.
We're on 50-50.
They're sitting there playing, 50-50. Well, we had 8 hours. So we would go, you know. But still, 8 hours is a long time.
Fuck yeah, it is to stand post. Now, were you rotating in between the posts to keep your guard mount fresh?
I think we would do just 4 hours. I think we would do a 4-hour rotation. Yeah. So we'd go 4 hours and then we'd move to another.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember that, man. I think we might have sat up in the tower for 8 hours, dude.
So that's like, okay, so we have this thing called the tower, and you go out there with a 4-man team. And as SOG, I'd be on for 6 hours as the guys were on post for 6 hours. And then we get off and go out to the tower. So what I would do is stand another 6 hours of watch with a guy who was doubling down and would stand 3 hours. Okay, so in the middle of my shift, he would rotate out. In the middle of the next guy's shift, I would rotate out. In the middle of his shit, so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
And it kept eyeballs and people fresh. Plus, when I rotated off that shift, I got to sleep for like 12 hours.
And fresh is a relative term.
Yeah, well, yeah. We had to worry more about kids who were, you know, throwing rocks and shit than we did about, I mean, you know, you got a 240 mounted with the muzzle sticking out the window is like show force.
Yes.
I mean, come on here.
Yeah.
Well, and
so our thing too is where we were at. Now this is the only reason I talk about Egypt is because it's fresh in my mind. It's the last, you know, it's not really fresh. It's, you know, that was how many years ago now? 13 years ago? 14 years ago? 15. Jesus Christ. I'm getting old.
No, you're just doing other shit.
Yeah, man. So you were just, you know, we were watching, you know, observing and reporting, you know, just like all that stuff. So there's times that we saw some stuff go down that shouldn't have been happening. You know, errant aircraft in the no-fly zone and mysterious Blackhawks flying out over the Gulf of Aqaba. You know, no, and I'm serious. You know, like all of a sudden you see this formation of freaking Blackhawks on the horizon, and you're like, what's going to happen? What's going down here? You know what I mean?
Right. Are they getting me? Can we go?
Are they coming after us? Are they going to come after me, or because
no? See, I
across
think
there,
are they going to pick
across
me
there
up?
though, it's like the hostiles. I mean, there's you've got Saudi Arabia in that area, Jordan, Egypt, Israel. All of them are freaking
Love me some international incidents while I'm on
man,
post.
It's great.
Yeah,
And it's like, dude, I mean, we literally on another part. And see, I actually had to pull post on South Camp. So, but then out on the remote sites, I was at SOG. But so you had literally there was always something to watch for the most part. If for nothing else, you'd have guys out on the remote site where you would watch a Israeli patrol boat drive out to a buoy every morning at 7 a.m. Right. And an Egyptian patrol boat come out, and they would always be there like 5 or 10 minutes later, and they would tie off to the other side of the buoy, right? And you could sit there with a spotter scope and watch these guys bullshitting and throwing food and drinks and stuff back and forth. So again, people always talk about, soldiers of almost any nationality and sides, even the ones that are supposed to be enemies.
Yeah,
dude, they get along. There's very few, militaries that after I sat down and you actually were open-minded enough to talk to them, that you didn't have so much in common because you're all veteran. You're all in the military.
Yeah.
So again, we would watch the Egyptians and the Israelis. They, seriously, dude, they'd sit there and bullshit all day long because then another patrol boat would come out and relieve the other one at like 3 in the afternoon. Right. Another Israeli boat and another Egyptian boat, and then those guys would start it right up too. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was unbelievable.
Right.
They would just sit there and bullshit, and they're the border security.
Right.
Hey,
and they go back and
those...
they're like, "No, we watched it. Yeah. We saw their movements.
We were watching them, but they're sitting there literally like you'd see. All of a sudden, you'd see like a Gatorade bottle fly across the open water.
Right.
Boat to boat. And the funny part is they had these long nets. So if something didn't quite make it, they could like scoop it out of the water. Or you'd see them throw things like different food or whatever.
These guys are sunbathing in the man hanging out.
Man. So you'd see them, and you could see they had Ziploc bags that they would like fill up. They'd throw the stuff in there, but they put a little extra air in there. So if they didn't make it, it would float.
Nice. Yeah.
It was just hysterical. Yeah. And we're watching these guys trying to make sure they don't kill each other.
Right.
Dude. They like know they know the kids' names and come on. It's and again, the reason I make this point is because most of us military folks know that we're just the boots on the ground. We do not create policy. We do not do any of that. That's done by the politicians sitting up on their high horse. Okay. Right. And us soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen, whatever, we might be proficient at fighting war, but none of us want to.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons that we're involved in so many conflicts. Because frankly, the leadership in Washington doesn't have enough veterans in it.
Oh, yeah.
And if you have more veterans within your leadership, look at post World War II, other than Korea, obviously, but post World War II, once you had leadership within Congress that was mainly veterans, dude, we didn't get involved in shit.
Right.
Not until Vietnam, really. 20 plus years. Not really any kinetic or low level conflict stuff. I mean, little bits here and there, but not anything else.
Yeah. Well, then
Clinton, look at the Clinton years, the years that I was in, dude, we were involved in everything. There was no war. There was no full out war, but we were policing the entire freaking world, man. I mean, we had guys in Bosnia, we had guys in Egypt at that point too. We had guys, Kosovo, Macedonia, that whole Baltic state craziness, guys fighting stuff in the Philippines, the war on drugs, which I don't even want to go into that. I mean, we were busy folks, man. But everyone because it wasn't an actual war. Look at like Beirut and that type of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, man. I mean, shit
even
was.
Somalia wasn't considered a real war.
No, exactly not. But how many guys died there?
Right. It's insane.
Well,
so anyway. one of the things that you hit on was the interaction in between different forces. And as an advisor downrange, I would stand post with Afghans, but then also work with the squad leaders so that their guys were standing posts with the Afghans. And it was cool to see the interaction because a lot of them, I mean, it's like you watch like Charlie Wilson's War and it's like, we trained these guys and now they're using it against us as if these dudes are war tabling, like checking their watches and shit. These motherfuckers can't read.
Most of them are dumber than boxes.
Dumb as shit.
It's not that they're dumb. And it's not even that they're dumb necessarily. They're uneducated. They're ignorant. Because they're fucking farmers.
Well, but it's not just that. They're Luddites, okay? And if you don't know what a Luddite is, they violently oppose technology, okay? So they wear watches as decoration and don't understand how to tell time and stuff. And I'm not saying this as a general comment. I'm saying this as, oh, man.
Fact. It's fact.
There were 5 out of 80 who could read, write, tell time out of the guys that we interacted with. And those were the cops, not our interpreters and other people like that. And I mean, either they were incredibly good at playing dumb or they just legitimately didn't give a fuck if that was the case. But eventually we're coming around kind of a thing because they understood that they were protecting and they knew that they needed a fight and what have you. It's just if there was downtime, they weren't gonna fight. Like I try to explain this to people. If you say, hey, I'm willing to fight, but during downtime, I'm not willing to train, you're kind of sort of a militiaman. Kind of.
You are a militiaman.
Right.
It's like kind of.
But the reason, but militia train.
A little bit, right.
They'll at least form up and figure out some sort of tactic. Where are we going to go? Whatever. These guys kind of knew that they needed to go to the police station or whatever, but outside of that, they were just going to do whatever the chief said, and then they were going to win. And that was awesome. And
that's another dynamic that us as Americans don't understand within the countries. A lot of the countries that we go into is so you have politics are very complicated there.
Right.
Even more complicated than ours.
Oh, dear God.
And ours is very complicated.
Well,
but their complications are not only do you have, because this is the thing that drives me a little crazy. All right. So people don't understand Islam in the sense that it's not.
Yeah, but see, that's not the issue with Afghanistan.
No, I know, but here, just let me finish my thought. So Islam is an all-encompassing thing when it comes to politics, religion, and identity. That's how they identify to an extent, right? Now, when you get on top of that, you get into the tribal system where you have different tribes. And that's one of the big issues in Afghanistan too, is you have the different tribes and tribal systems that interject within the local politics. So you might have a regional governor, but that regional governor have shit for power. That's a Western.
But it's the same thing
put upon a tribal system that doesn't work that way.
But it works the same way as in an American home. So it's all based upon your family. So like if your family is for the tribal leader, so on and so forth, what have you. But the dynamic that we saw is if you were raised within a Pashtun tribe, which are the majority in Afghanistan.
Correct.
But they do not control the country. And they're the majority by last check that I saw was like 47%.
Right.
And I mean, don't quote me on these. They are the majority. But they speak Pashtun. And the Constitution's written in Dari.
Yeah.
And the Dari interpreters from up north are well educated, become our Terps, come down south, learn Pashtun, and then try to fit in with the Pashtun tribes and what have you. Our Terps we had a couple of Terps that just didn't fit in, and then we had a couple of Terps that were rock solid. See, but this matters, especially when you're standing posts with a guy and a PKM machine gun in front of you, mounted on a tripod. You know, he has an AK-47 walking around behind you. You have an M4 and a pistol. You're the only one with NVGs. so you share, right? You're the only one with bubble gum, so you share, right? He tries to give you sweet gay, which is basically dip that has like fucking, I don't know, like fibrous insulation to hold it together. Like, I'm not joking. It's insulation that would be in a house.
Yeah, man.
No thanks, buddy. You try giving him dip tobacco, right? You're talking about bombalas and dushman and, you know, all of these other different things. And then your interpreter is trying to work in. You might be building a rapport with the Pashtun and speaking more, not more than your interpreter, but you're an American who's trying to speak Pashto, and you are clean shaven, haircut, not necessarily a clean uniform because you're in the middle of the fucking desert, talking with this guy, trying to get his language right. You're standing there as a 100% American, trying to get his shit right because you give a damn about him and you're going to protect him, and then you're going to kill whatever enemy pops up. But then when the Turk comes by, they could be speaking, you know, they could be Dari speaking educated from the north, uppity pricks to these Pashtuns. And so it can throw a completely different dynamic into your post, essentially. Like, you can cut the tension with a knife.
And this is something that, unfortunately, the powers that be don't think about. Never. It was like when we went into Iraq the first time, I hear nightmare stories because we had Turkish interpreters who were speaking to the Kurds. And the Kurds thought that we were assholes because the Terps are assholes. Yeah. Because the Terps fucking hate, the Turkish Terps hate the fucking Kurds. Yeah. And in turn, they would talk down to them and everything else. And then they're like, fuck you. We're not going to deal with you guys. Yeah. You guys suck. You know, if you're friends with these guys, you suck, you know?
Yeah.
And this, I know the same thing goes on in Afghanistan. It's exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah,
same thing happens in Iraq. It happened in Bosnia. Well, I mean, we'd have like a Bosnian Muslim interpreter, and if we went to go do a weapons inspection on a Bosnian Serb outpost, dude, there's times when I knew we were gonna get into the shit. I just knew it, and how we didn't, I have no idea. You know what I mean? Or like if we would go up to a house, like we would be doing like health and welfare checks and stuff, whatever the hell you want to call it. And we would walk up, and the people that opened the door, I mean, they like know by looking at each other who is who. Like, we had no fucking clue.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, they would know. And I told you the story about the one where we were doing this Operation Harvest thing, where we were collecting weapons, and, you know, people were giving us stuff. And we had this freaking interpreter went up to the door. This lady brought a shoebox full of freaking like hand grenades to the door, and I'm telling you, she did it on purpose the way that she did it because our interpreter was Muslim.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And homeboy ran. He ran. He turned around, and because he ran, the EOD tech ran.
Oh my God. Oh, that's
so my squad leader and I are standing there like, wait. And literally these grenade spoons are being held on by like dry rotted rubber bands.
Ugh.
And I was like, ma'am, you know, luckily the woman spoke a touch of English, and I was like, I tapped her counter and I said, set down. So she set it down, and then me and we all backed away. Like, I was like, you need to go in the other room. And then we backed away. It was fucking crazy.
No,
but that was, I'm telling you, the only reason that the way that she handled the situation was because you could see her get like pissed.
Ugh.
But then we'd have another guy who was a Catholic. We had a guy, he was a Catholic of Croatian descent from northern Bosnia.
Yeah.
He was cool as shit. But again, he seemed to get along with the others better. But this other guy, man, he was just like kind of militant or something.
Yeah.
And he wasn't our interpreter very long, but every time we went out, it was a problem.
Ugh. All right. Hey, shifting gears on this one. Check this out. Still foreign national force. All right. But we're standing on post. 3 technicals. So this is pickup trucks with Dishkas, PKMs, RPDs mounted in the back, what have you. We're on post. Vehicle starts hauling ass at the gate and tailgates the third Vic all the way through the Serpentine. My buddy hops on the 240, charges it, right? So now it's like bolt locked to the rear, charging handle forward, condition 1, safety off. Penny is prepping an AT4. Pin is out. Charging handle is cocked. It's in the shoulder. Sights are up. I'm like, I'm gonna blow a fucking car up with a goddamn rocket launcher.
AT4.
Today is the day, motherfuckers. Today is the day. I'm ready for this. All I need is a front sight. Fuck off. This is happening. I fucking swing around the corner, right? Crackle over the earpiece. Ceasefire, like hold fire, whatever. That vehicle was a captured vehicle, and out steps an Iraqi soldier in uniform, steps out of the vehicle.
Oh, God.
Motherfucker! Okay? I almost got to blow a fucking car up with a goddamn rocket launcher, okay? Like, this is...
Hey, let me ask you this, though.
Ah!
Did you check your back blast area?
I did.
Or did you get so...
You want to know something?
Okay, you got so fucking twisted up, dude. That you're like, oh, I'm gonna stand.
You have no idea, man. You don't understand. This was the glorious of all glorious shots. The reason why it had 3 AT4s in that post, and it's because you walk out onto a camouflage balcony, so it's camouflage to the north, right, with cami net, and then over to the left side of the balcony is entirely open, which you rarely go out on that side, aside from, like, no shit, 5 Marines with proper dispersion across them could line up along that wall, muzzles over, and get into a firefight with whoever's coming in the gate, right? This is like fucking, I don't know, Kusei's entrance or some shit. I don't know how to put it. And there's this post that goes out on a partial edge of the balcony. We built it up with plywood and sandbags and everything else. There's a 240 that overlooks the entrance, and like I said, 3 AT4s. So the 2 guys in that post have a stupid amount of firepower, and it's 2 Lance Corporals, right? So like 2 Lance Corporals in a room with a couple of ball bearings, right? You heard this one? You know what I mean? You come back, one's broken, the other one, they have no idea where it went.
Right.
So now you're on post with a 240, a shit ton of ammo, and a couple of AT4s and a couple of technicals come through. Yeah, I lean over the balcony, like edge or what have you, the handrail. Oh, dude, my backblast area, it wasn't vertical, but it was definitely going to shoot a gigantic flame damn near straight up in the air as I exploded a car. Nope. Dude, I'm telling you right now, man. I had, you know how you roll your fingers up over top of the disarm trigger? It's like spring loaded on the front.
Oh, yeah.
And then you press it with your thumb. Oh, yeah. I was there. Just like resting a thumb on an armed, locked and cocked, ready to rock AT4. Right? Oh, dude, I was going to do God's work. And then a fucking Iraqi soldier hops. I was so pissed.
I got to fire many an AT4. Not in it was in training, but I actually taught, I had the illustrious honor of teaching West Point cadets how to shoot the AT4.
Oh, nice.
For an entire summer.
It must have been fun.
No, not so much. We called them cadidiots.
Cadidiots?
Cadidiots.
Yeah. We're all dumb when we're young. It doesn't matter where we go to school.
True.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yep. Standing post. One time I was standing post and a Navy SEAL came on post.
What's that all about?
So there were 2 separate times that the SEALs came into our specific area when we were on this 1OP. One was they came up on shore and we almost killed them, but we were like, the enemy doesn't use fucking Zodiacs. Who are these clowns? Right. And they're like, oh, your post didn't even know that we were there and shit. And it's like, what are you, retarded? Like, it's like, we have a 90% of loom going on right now, brother. We started lasing them. So all they see is peck, right? Like peck 2s or whatever, just being, oh, fuck. So, one time I was just sitting on post and this guy came walking on. He had on like a white dishdasha and some sort of fucking headdress or whatever, a scraggly red beard, some Oakleys. I want to say he had on Asics. They might have been New Balance, not sure, but they were definitely tennis shoes. They were not combat boots, and
they were not combat.
They were not combat boots. He had an AKSU Soviet with a collapsible stock on it, and a chest rig like a plate carrier underneath of his little man dress. I'm like, what the fuck are you? Like, I legitimately said that to him.
What the fuck are you?
What the fuck are you?
Could be any number of service or agency.
Right.
Because you never quite know.
Right. Well, and the other thing, too, is I like if somebody comes on my post, I feel that I have the right to kill them. Okay? Like, if you're on my post, I pretty much have the right to kill you. Unless you tell me why the fuck you're on my goddamn post.
What?
Okay.
What the fuck are you?
I got a lot of firepower right here, and I really want a knife kill. So, you either tell me what's going on, or I'm going for the femoral, because he ain't gonna expect that shit.
You hear what you just said? You're like, I have a lot of firepower, but I want a knife kill.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is my mentality. I used to sit there with my K-bar like, I'm gonna fucking stab the shit out of somebody if they come up on me. I'm gonna stab that motherfucker. I ain't going down like Metal Gear Solid, how I used to sneak up on Sentry. That is not how I am going down. No, sir. Oh, hey, I snuck up behind Penny and I'm going to get you in the flank steak, motherfucker. This is not how I am going down. You are sadly mistaken.
That's really funny.
Dude. Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck are you? To this guy, and he's like, what's up, man? We're up here checking shit out, and I was wondering if I could sit on post with you for a little bit. I'm like, you want to sit on post? He's like, I want to hide on post. I'm like, okay, now I can.
I want to hide on.
Right, exactly. And
right,
I'm
exactly, because the SEAL's not coming up there to just chill out with the fucking.
Right.
They may have an affinity for Marines, but they're not coming to hang out.
No,
they're hiding.
They know better than
ghost.
that.
We're going ghost on it, and we're gonna do it with Mike Penny up in post.
Right.
So best post, one of the best posts I ever had, and post is a loose term on this one. We were doing drug interdiction in a national forest out in California with mountains. Nice. So we had, this is before really before digital communication and whatnot, and we were still, we've talked about our radios in the past, and using the not old school, but older radios where we literally had to carry like 3 different types of radio to communicate with, air. We had to communicate with UHF. We had to, you know what I mean? So yeah. we have what they would call, and I know that they probably had them in there too, but we had relay sites.
Yep. Retrans.
Retrans all over the place. Well, this is no different than doing, missions within the continental United States as well. We had retrans set up on a not on the highest peak in the national forest, but on the peak next to that, because the highest peak, which was not that far away, and I say not that far away meaning 200 meters, you know what I mean?
Right.
And there was like a little like saddle between the 2 peaks. And I don't mean like Everest Peak. I mean like,
sure,
like a California, mountains, not Sierra Nevadas, but down in like Santa Barbara area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Los Pedros National Forest. So now the tallest point was very, very lots of foot traffic, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we had
tourists, all that other happy horse shit.
We had a huge antenna array set up, but it was buried. Well, part of it went across the trail. I might have told this story before, but I'm telling it again. So part of it had to go across this trail that, on the weekend, we'd probably see a dozen people, right?
Yeah.
So we had it buried, I don't know. I guess initially it was buried like 3 to 6 inches deep, right? But after time, we had been out there like a month. It kind of got uncovered at some point. Yeah. And somebody, a hiker, saw it and started like pulling it up, right?
Oh, shit.
So you have a team of recon Marines, very well hidden. You know what I mean? We're in like a hide site doing this retrans stuff for, 7 days at a time. And we would, switch in and out at night. They would fly us in, we'd land, they'd, boom, boom. We'd freaking do, whatever. But we were on like our 3rd day up there. And this person started following the cord up, like started unpulling it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and got to within about 10 feet of us, still didn't see us. But we're all like, what the fuck are we supposed to do if this guy finds us?
Right.
Because we had never really gotten, at least not that I can remember at this point, we had never really gotten a briefing on, they're like, don't let anyone see you. Like this is like the thing, like nobody's going to see you because nobody's going to see you. Why the fuck would they? Right.
Right.
But just don't get seen. Well, we're all like looking at the team leader, like, what the fuck are we supposed to do if this person comes busting through this wood line?
Right.
They didn't, thank God. So we never had to go with that, but we were a little, we're like, what the fuck? I mean, it's not like we're going to kill him or something.
But you didn't get compromised.
But we didn't get compromised, but we were so close, dude.
Yeah.
And there's a couple times like we had like got up like before it got dark to go out and like take a shit somewhere else where, it's not, you don't want to shit where you live or eat,
Yeah.
So, but there were still hikers out or whatever. And like, you're stuck, you're like dropped, your trowels down, you're hiding behind a fucking rock. And all of a sudden you hear people.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck? Like you're nowhere near a trail. You know what I mean? And that happened a few times too.
Yep.
But, dude.
No, I told you about Bridgeport.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Oh,
man?
dude. Bridgeport. The other one was, because it's, and it all, like post, I guess, in a loose term, is like watch, radio watch, what have you.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I won't go through the whole final exercise, but in DM school, there's this one exercise where you've got to get over and you have to do an observation on a road. Well, the route as we mapped it, which would take us in a clandestine nature around to the observation site, was gonna be a slayer. Like we were gonna have to fucking run the entire time, kind of a deal, right? And we knew it. So we're running, and my spotter and I are senior guys on the squad, and so we just naturally fell into the leadership billets, and we kind of did a hasty halt after we left the COC with approval. And as we got over to this one area, and again, it was clandestine. Our route was clandestine, meaning that it went around through the woods, and it went entirely around this massive LZ. And by massive, I mean fucking massive. You could land probably 6 Osprey comfortably in this LZ together. And so we halted, and it was lit on one edge, but it was poorly lit across the center of the thing. And we had about... I want to say there was 8 guys, and it was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just get online and sprint all the way across this bitch. And if they see us, they see us. But if they don't, we just shaved a huge amount of time off, and we're going to be in well before, we're going to be perfect in cover and concealment, right? So we decided to do it, and we get online. We haul ass all the way across the LZ. We stay in the shadows and stuff like that, and it just worked out that we're on the other side, hopped over another road, crossed the danger area the way that you're supposed to, and got up out of the ditch into the tree line. So many people make the mistake of staying in the ditch. That's so stupid. Get up into the woods, make your way along, and then there was a couple other danger areas down onto the beach, snuck up and around, and our team is split up and stop, and a van comes piling up. And I'm in like hauling ass up to the spot, slams on the right, like throws it into park, hops out. Come on, motherfucker. Like, we gotta go. We gotta get in there. I'm like, what? I'm listening, and these 2 guys are talking. Well, it turns out it's our instructors. And they're the ones who are getting into position for the enemy, and they were gonna ambush us. Well, because we ran across the LZ and made it through the danger areas, they were late and we were early. And we were on either side of this gap. And so they walked right in between our squad out towards the surf. And I'm like, what do I even... Like, I have a blank, but I probably shouldn't shoot it that close. Okay?
Right.
I'm gonna, blast this dude's eardrum out. So I just go, bang! And they stop and turn around. They're like, what the fuck? My spotter out there, bang! What the fuck is going on? And then you hear the other side of the team. Bang, bang, bang. It was so childish. You know what I mean? It felt like we were kids again.
That's hysterical.
Oh, dude. And they're like, wait a minute. No. And I'm like, dude, we fucking killed you, bro. But the exercise, I'm like, no.
I killed you. No, you killed me. No, I killed you.
Right. Like, you're so fucked.
Close kill. Budget cuts.
Right.
fuck, man.
Well, the reason
I always loved training with blanks that weren't real blanks.
Well, right, but the reason, okay, so I could have shot a blank, but I would have
Well, of
blown
course,
out
but-
his fucking
right,
eardrum.
Exactly. Would have been not good.
Right.
Still,
It would have.
funny.
He was
Close
me to
kill.
this microphone away.
Close kill.
Right. I could have stabbed him. Could have
Yeah,
gotten a knife
should've.
kill there.
Should have been like, shh.
Right.
It's quiet. I just fucking Metal Gear Solided your ass. So the last story that I have about standing post is a run-in with a female moose and her calf in Alaska.
Oh, shit.
Where I almost shit myself. And so did the rest of my team. We were harbor sided, and then we were out there in June or July. Bugs were fucking horrible, first off, number one. Number two, it was light literally like 20 hours of the day.
Yeah.
So we're in a harbor site trying to, we ate chow, changed socks, got like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Well, I was on guard. The other guys, we're all back to back in a circle. Well, I heard this. I heard movement. We were on like an incline. I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. So there was an incline, pretty steep incline, but then it leveled out like a little plateau.
Yeah.
And then it went up again. But it was all covered with this like 5 or 6 foot grass. Okay. And we did it that way so we could, if the person on duty or the person on guard needed to stand up, because there's no way you're getting in there without making a shit ton of racket because the grass was all dry. Right. So I heard shuffling through the grass and I'm like, oh, motherfuckers, and we had just observed an area where it was suspected, growing pot.
Goddamn potheads with your loud music.
Right. But anyway, so we were harbored up. Boom. I was looking out. So from there, I could see out over all the grass. Well, I saw this moving around in the fucking grass. Right. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, it was obviously some sort of animal. And I was like, like I made a couple little grunts and noises.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden I see out of like the corner of my eye, I see movement farther over. And it's a female moose. So I was like, all right, well, that's fucking cool. And, because it's the first time I'd ever seen a moose so close up. And she was probably, I don't know, 25 yards away.
Oh, get the fuck out of there.
So not very far, right?
Get the fuck out of there. They didn't close that distance quick.
Not very far away. Well, the other thing, which all of a sudden I got this dread over my fucking body. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's a calf.
Yeah.
This is my mind process, all like instantly. And that motherfucker was only about 10, 15 yards away. So about halfway between her and I. And I'm in the and the baby's in the middle. So you see the mother just fucking come right at us. And went from 25 yards to like 10 yards in like the snap of it.
Oh yeah.
And she's mock charging,
Right.
And I charged my weapon. And as soon as I did that, my fucking team leader's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like it woke him up.
Yeah.
And everyone else is all of a sudden they're up, Yeah. And I'm like, I've got a female moose with a baby about 10 yards away, mock charging. So I said to him,
right.
So he charges his friend, stands up, and we're like, oh, we're going to eat fucking the moose tonight.
Oh,
man.
hell yeah.
That's what we were thinking.
I would have killed both of these. I don't give a shit.
So, but finally, because we were standing our ground, I wasn't going we weren't going any. Really, we had nowhere to go.
Right.
Anyway, you know what I mean? Plus fuck, dude. I had a 60 Echo at the time.
Yeah.
So
that
that's
moose
what
is
woke him up.
down.
I charged that 60, that fucking Echo,
Right.
There's not going to be much left of that bitch anyway.
Right. We're not talking about a couple of grunts online with M16s.
No.
We're talking about 7.62 link that's about to rip through mama and calf. This is happening.
Right, exactly.
From the hip,
Absolutely.
just cycling.
Fucking Rambo style. Shit. So
murderizing a fucking.
This be some tender fucking moves.
Oh my god. Mind the back straps, motherfucker.
Yeah. So anyway, so it ended up with no bloodshed. But damn, dude. And then on that same deployment, we got to see. We were up on another ridge, laid out our battery. We had solar chargers, right?
Yeah.
To charge solar batteries or whatever for our radios. So we had to do that, and we watched because we had 2 separate spotter scopes with us. And we watched the grizzly bear for like an hour across the valley. That was fucking badass.
Hell yeah.
And we had gotten over there later on the next day. And there was a wild blueberry all over that freaking side. So that bear was just mowing those freaking blueberries down. And they're pretty good, and they're pretty good when you add them to an MRE. Wild blueberries, baby.
Hell yeah. That'd be delicious.
So anyway.
Well, if you guys got any other post stories that are fun, exciting, boring, or otherwise, by all means, get in touch with us. You can reach out. It's at contact@cigarsandseastories.com. Mike at cigarsandseastories.com. Bennett at cigarsandseastories.com. You get it. We'll have other episodes coming up here. Your comments will be shared on the show if you've got other posts. I've seen a couple of different comments come through in regard to some other video episodes that we had. We had a couple other weapon episodes, had some comments. We're going to have some different folks on the show here coming up. By all means, get in touch with us. We field those emails and we get back to you and we have you on the show. I mean, that's what it's all about. So thank you so much to our sponsors, veteranslist.us. If you're a small business owner and you want to get a featured membership on there, you can do so for 50% off by entering discount code Cigars and Sea. Again, that's 50% off at veteranslist.us for a featured membership. 50% off. Enter in Cigars and Sea. I gotta spit that out. And a huge thank you to Spartan Media, who's a fellow Marine owned and operated business, and they're the ones who did our awesome website. We're a proud member of the Heroes Media Group, a veteran owned and operated group of podcasts, all veteran led, I believe. Yeah, I think all of them are.
Maybe, for the most part, at least.
They have a great variety of shows. And I need to make mention of this, by the way, because Heroes Media Group does a lot of sports. They've got ladies talk on there. The Arms Room, I did an episode with them regarding firearms. The Decision Hour with Adam Bird, who's the founder of Heroes Media Group. So just check it out. Heroes Media Group. Oh, good Gandhi. Another episode of Cigars and Sea Stories. I love it. You got anything for our listeners as we wrap this up?
No, I don't.
Really? I always ask, let me hear your war cry. This is why I went to the army.
Shit. Yeah, because my shit's weak. My shit's wicked weak.
And on that note, we cue the music. Setting sun.